Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? All right, listen. Question. What's next? Hmm? What's next? I asked this question because from what we the people have experienced, from wildfires that fuel the agenda, to food and fertilizer processing plants across America serendipitously blowing up and burning down, from bridges being destroyed by so-called hacked cargo ships, to livestock being poisoned with arsenic and spike protein tickets. We are all witnessing the planned destruction of the Republic, one key infrastructure entity at a time. Prove me wrong. So the one way that demon rats can succeed in turning America into a socialist hellhole as they wish, because this is exactly what they want, is to eliminate the middle class entirely. And that means me and you, okay? This requires ruining the infrastructure of food, fuel, water, and any other key elements to the extent that they are either hardly available, extremely unaffordable, or just non-existent. So ever since the supply chain got crippled across the board during the pandemic, and inflation driven out of the roof by all of this, it just has been one major mishap after another, and every fire, explosion, demolition is called accidental by MSM. How convenient that the fake news narrative always fits the political agenda of the left. Yeah. So at the end of January, okay, San Antonio News reported that two chicken farm buildings at Feathercrest Farms were engulfed in flames after some massive explosions that rocked the chicken plant. Nearly 20,000 dairy cows were lost, among other animals vital to the food supply. And the plant had been in operation since the 1950s, I believe it was. Firefighters and detectives were not able to identify how this happened. Strange, right? This is just one incident, just one in a long string of food facility explosions and fires that had been occurring since Mr. 19's pandemic gained momentum. And as the globalists are just pushing for all the peons to eat worms and insects and dirt, and Mr. Billy Boy and his GMO lab-made fake meat, all the meat and eggs and factories seem to be conveniently just going up in smoke. Sabotage. That's what I say. But wait, there's more, yes. Don't forget about the food processing plant in Decatur, Illinois exploding, where OSHA claimed to have launched their own 6-month investigation into the mishap. Yes. Then there was the fertilizer plant in Austin, Texas, that burned to the ground, plus the American Plant Food Corporation in Bartlett, Texas, that caught fire. And somehow that became completely and fully engulfed in flames. So bad that the fire department couldn't even handle it themselves. Looks like the U.S. government, once again, is trying to starve out the middle class as the cost of meat and eggs and dairy and fresh food skyrockets, while the processing plants keep catching fire and blowing up like clockwork. Yeah. Nobody knows who would have had enough money, Soros, to hire criminals to create these arson events. But they can't all be accidents, as the infrastructure of the food supply chains fall like dominoes, like demolition. Oh, yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. We all saw it. You guys were emailing me about it. And the US government knows how to turn any small mishap into a national catastrophe. And the derailment of train carrying some of the world's most deadliest toxin, vinyl chloride, was the epitome of staged events. Now, staged doesn't mean fake. Oh, nay, nay, because this literally happened. But rather than the event was turned into a major catastrophe of epic proportions, that it made national and even world news. Anyone with any common sense and morals would have known not to set the train's toxic cargo on fire, but to leave it to the US government and the EPA to ruin the soil, the environment, and the food supply with any given opportunity, especially over the last few years. Then there was the massively obvious staged event where a loaded cargo ship turned 45 degrees at the very last moment in order to conveniently destroy one of the only two necessary support pylons of the Baltimore Bridge. This had all the sides of an inside job, and all the fake news narrative was quick to call it an accident. Within a couple of hours, they all had the same fake narrative, by the way. This was all major supply thoroughfare for chemicals and weapons and vehicles and food and more that's now incapacitated for a whole decade. Thanks, 46. So the question remains, what staged infrastructure and supply line destruction event will be next for this regime? I'll be waiting for your answers. Email them to me, please. I can't wait to read them. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I will see you in the next one. Okay. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping, because God knows we're going to need it. And as always, fear less. Ciao.